So I've just been to a baby shower. Fucking weird. Americans. Seriously weird. Anyway, so I have been drinking because I had to. Alright, so somebody wrote me an email and they said they want to talk about event restriction. First of all, I'm going to say I've talked about event restriction quite a ton and I've blogged about it and it's in my book and I've probably done a YouTube video about it previously, but I'm going to do another one because it's that time of year, isn't it? Teddy's here, my emotional support cat, because Stinky is still not back. Anyway, so here goes. I was wondering if you could make a video on event restriction before Christmas. Christmas is a huge deal in my country and it usually involves family meals with loads of food everywhere. Every year around November I start getting anxious and restricting even more over exercising to lose weight in preparation for Christmas, when finally I'll let go of all restrictions and binge myself into oblivion. This year I'm at a healthy weight and I'm desperately trying not to fall into that trap all over again, but it's so difficult. My brain tempts me every day, telling me that I still have time and it's only 3 weeks and you can do this and you don't even need to lose that much weight, only that couple of pounds and that will put you into blah, 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 so you can have that buffer, allow yourself to binge eat at Christmas, etc. I'm sure you know what kind of shit I'm talking about. It's so frustrating. Yes, so I often tell my story about the Christmas event restriction because I was in England for, so Thanksgiving wasn't really a thing, although now I'm in America, I understand that a lot of people get all freaked out about Thanksgiving because that's another big meal. But Thanksgiving's just sort of like the one day, whereas Christmas, is pretty much like, the whole month. And so I was the same, although I probably started event restricting for Christmas around June. And I would tell myself all the time, like, if I just exercise like crazy now, restrict now, when it comes to Christmas, I'm just going to let myself eat. Of course, I never did. So I do all the event restriction months in advance. And then I get to, I go to Christmas party and of course I wouldn't really allow myself to eat. And then of course Christmas Day, of course I wouldn't really allow myself to eat. So the thing that I found is that event restriction is a lie anyway, because I never then did let myself go and eat whatever I wanted. So I do the hard restriction part and then not do the fun part. But here's the funny part, or not, is that I did it every year. And every year it was the same. And every year I fell for it. It's not like, you say, that saying like, fool me once, more fool me twice, more fool you. I don't know what the saying is, but you know what I mean. If you get, say if it's just been the first year of me having an eating disorder and I didn't know any better and I did the whole event restriction thing for ages and then on Christmas I still restricted, you would think that the next year when I had the idea to event restrict and I had the thought, I'll let myself really go at Christmas, you would think that I think, oh no, you said that last year and it didn't happen. But no, I would do it. And you would think come year 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, I would think, oh, you know what? This has happened 8 times before and I still didn't allow myself to eat properly at Christmas. So maybe I shouldn't believe this shit. But eating disorders make us really fucking stupid. And so every single year I would do event restriction and I'd still make Christmas dinner a misery for me and everybody else by having my Christmas tantrum and not allowing myself to eat Christmas dinner. And then, of course, my mum would say, well, surely, Tabby, you could have a bit of turkey. And I'd be like, fuck you, can I have a bit of turkey? And then Christmas is ruined for everyone. So let's not let that happen, hey? Because the saddest part is, when I decided to recover, do you know how easy it was not to event restrict? It was really fucking easy. It was ridiculously easy. It was so easy, I was massively embarrassed that I had not done it earlier. Because my brain had always told me, you know what, if you don't event restrict now, you're going to allow yourself to eat on Christmas Day is a lettuce leaf. That's what my brain would tell me, that I had to event restrict, because if I didn't, I just wouldn't, I wouldn't be able to handle eating at all without event restricting. biggest load of bullshit ever. Because you know what? The first year that I didn't event restrict, guess what happened? That was also the first year that I actually allowed myself to eat a decent amount, a more than decent amount, at Christmas. So it just doesn't make any sense, I know, because my brain used to tell me, look, unless you event restrict, of course you're not going to allow yourself to eat at Christmas. But then what actually happened is when I didn't event restrict, then I allowed myself to eat at Christmas. Do you know why that is? It's because restriction leads to restriction. And so if you're event restricting, you're going to carry on restricting. And if you're fuck it, I'm not restricting, you're going to carry on fuck it, I'm not restricting on Christmas Day. And so always with eating disorder, you've got to call the bluff. Whatever your eating disorder tells you about, well, this will be the consequence unless you do what I'm saying you should do, then you have to call that bluff and actually say, no, fuck you, I'm in charge. And if I decide to eat Christmas dinner, I'm going to eat Christmas dinner. And that's how it's going to be. But event restricting is never going to have a good ending for you. It's never going to end in anything other than you continuing to have an eating disorder. And so allow this to be the year when you don't continue to have an eating disorder. And I know it sounds overly simplified when you have an eating disorder, what I'm telling you, but what I am going to tell you is that the way that you don't have an eating disorder this coming Christmas is by stopping having one now. And that means you have to start eating now in preparation to be able to enjoy Christmas Day. Think of it like practice. You've got to practice not restricting. Get busy with it now. You've got 3 weeks. Get practicing. Because if you don't practice not restricting, you're not suddenly going to be able to do it on Christmas Day. If you restrict all the way up to Christmas Day, good luck trying to not restrict. You know, like in a healthy way. Yes, some of you might do the binge and then restrict afterwards shit, but you know what I mean. You know that's not what I'm getting at. And so you've got to practice it now. Start as you mean to go on. Do not for a second fall into the trap of event restricting. You know better. At least I've got that in my defence, that I didn't know better. Well, at least for the first year anyway. Although arguably I think I did know better after that. But whatever. I didn't have someone like me telling me the shit that I'm telling you. You've got no fucking excuse for it. You are smarter than this. And if you want to recover, now is the time to really put that into practice. Because you can do it. I know that you can. And you can have a lovely Jingle Bell Christmas. Which reminds me, I don't like eggnog. Never have. And somebody gave me some eggnog and I gave it to the pigs and they loved it. So that's your interesting fact for the day, is that pigs love eggnog. Mulled wine, love that stuff. But they don't do it over here in America. I was telling somebody about the mulled wine because I was telling them I don't like eggnog. Don't get me eggnog. Weird stuff. I don't like it. Give me mulled wine. And they're like, what, you have wine with mould in it? And I'm like, no, mulled wine. And they're like, what, mould in the wine? It's just like banging your head against a brick wall over here. No, mulled wine. And do you know what else they don't have over here? They do not have mince pies. Which is really upsetting, because I do like mince pies a lot. My mum makes really good ones, but she tried to send them over once in a package and it wasn't good. By the time they arrived, it wasn't really mince pies, but it was still delicious and I still ate it. But it was just more like a box full of crumbs. Delicious crumbs at that. But so eggnog, no. Mulled wine, not mulled wine. And just about actually every other thing that's to do with Christmas food and drink I really like, apart from eggnog. And maybe that's just because it's invented by Americans. I'm not used to it. Maybe it will grow on me, but I'm probably going to keep giving it to the pigs. All right, bye.